Hey there everybody, Mazarok here, and today we've got more big changes for Protection Warrior, and a lot of things going in the very right direction, because there was a round of nerfs, but Prot Warrior was well overperforming, so that's fine. They had actually brought it a little bit more in line and actually didn't diminish its power level that much. So very strong, but they added a few talent options that are actually very interesting, and I want to talk about these. I'm not going to go over every single talent and talent change, but this is kind of the core big ones and where I think it really improves the spec. Please do like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. Flabbergasted by all the support. We're just barreling towards 4K subs. Thank you so much, everybody, while we're getting there. There's a Discord link down below if you want to talk about anything. You know, if there's anything you want to talk about, chat about from any of these trees, any of the tank specs, come on by, check it out down there below. Wonderful people in there. There's a Twitch link down below if you wish to watch me stream, and a Patreon link if you wish to support me directly. All right, let's get into some of the bigger changes. So in the class tree, there was a change to Signet of Tormented Kings, which is basically a dead talent choice for the avatar. It was a great choice for DPS specs. For tank, you never want a Blade Storm because you just die. So what they changed it to is called Immovable Object. Activating avatar or shield wall, cast the other at reduced effectiveness. Now, as of right now, with testing in PTR and beta, the reduced effectiveness doesn't actually reduce the DR. So what it is you get the full 50%. It's just at 4 seconds instead of 50 seconds. 50 seconds, 8 seconds, sorry, with a 50% DR. So this is actually a really solid choice now, which puts it in conversation with Unstoppable Force. Unstoppable Force, I think, is still going to be the better Mythic Plus play, and Immovable Object would probably actually be a really good raid option as well. But the synergies with this Immovable Object actually does happen with Unbreakable Will. Unbreakable Will is a talent option with the wall here that was pretty lackluster and wasn't really in the conversation. Anything you were choosing here 95% of the time was the wall. But with Unbreakable Will, Shield Wall gains 1 additional charge and grants 50% of its effect to all party members. This triggers off the avatar of a movable object. So you can give your party members, with anger management and avatar, a once per minute 25% 25% DR for 4 seconds. This is actually kind of really strong in certain types of content. I'm sure there's going to be dungeons out there that are going to have like big all-around hits where you can, you know, use your shield wall or use your avatar or have it running and kind of just give your party a big DR and be very, very useful. Is this going to be the default pick? Like, is this combination going to be the default pick in most scenarios? Probably not. But it actually does put it back into the conversation and could see some very niche uses. But in those niche uses, could be insanely valuable and could be a lot of fun to use and especially make you feel good, right? You're pressing a bigger damage button for yourself, but at the same time, you're protecting your party members. And that, I don't know, the idea of that feels really good. And I like that sort of thing. And I like abilities that have these sorts of synergies that you can play around and customize and move. And this is something that I think the tree does very, very well. And going over into the spec tree next, you can see under Ravager and Shield Charge, we do have 2 nodes instead of the 1. So the adding of a Battering Ram for Shield Charge, what this does is Shield Charge critical strike chance and critical strike damage is increased by 15%, and Shield Charge increases your auto attack speed by 20% for 20 seconds. Now, there is a node in the class tree that increases auto attack speed by 5%, and another one with Quick Thinking, which increases your auto attack speed by another 20% for 10 seconds every time you critical strike. So and we all know with Devastator, you might not know, but most of us know, it procs your more shield slams. This is why Wind Fury is actually really, really good for Prot. But, you know, most of the time you're not getting into a Wind Fury group because it's the DPS. It's for mostly DPS more than it is for tanks. But if you can get in one, you definitely get more shield slam procs. This is really good. This is a really good ability, and honestly, it increases shield charge quite a bit. Now here, I'm on the beta version of the talent tree, so it still has, for some odd reason, it still has the 25-yard range. Shield charge no longer has a minimum range. You can quite literally just use it. So it removed the minimum rage. I see what they did here now. So you can use it within 25 yards, and it does no longer have a minimum rage. Rage. Oh my goodness. Talking today's fun. You can just literally charge into battle and then immediately shield charge something else or whatever you want to do. I think the proper play here is going to take Booming Voice and Avatar. Get yourself set up with a charge, Avatar, a Demo Shout, all of, Rend and a Thunderclap, and then do a big old shield charge and get your stun, because this deals quite a bit of damage apparently. It's really, really good. And of course, you can pair this with Champion's Bulwark, which gives you the reprisal effect whenever you use shield charge, which you can say whatever you want about Reprisal. I still think it is a really good legendary. It just sucked how much we were forced to play around it. And, on live, we still are forced to play around it, which makes that not fun. That takes something good and makes it not fun and bad. Also, please don't judge the talent options here. I just pick stuff to kind of get down to where I want to. I know I'm going to be putting points into Booming Voice, Indomitable, and, fun stuff like that. I wanted to highlight these, and you only have so many talent choices to do. So Ravager got a couple little changes, right? So going into Shadowlands, Ravager for Prot Warrior is not going to be a 45-second cooldown. It's going to be a 1.5-minute cooldown. And you can customize this a little bit further with a Dance of Death. So if your Ravager helps kill an enemy, I'm assuming if your Ravager just hits something, your next Ravager will last 2 seconds longer and deal 20% increased damage. You can pair this as well with Storm of Steel. So Storm of Steel will give you 2 charges of Ravager, and it will reduce its cooldown by 40%. Never cooldown. Its damage by 40%, but it generates 15 rage every time it deals damage instead of 2. So this can really, you can go into the rage generation use of Ravager a lot stronger. But if you pair this with Dance of Death, technically you'll get the second charge, but after your first Ravager and you keep going through, we'll have to see what the duration of this buff is, like if it lasts the entire time or if it only lasts for like a minute or two. But once your first Ravager helps kill an enemy, then your next one will only deal 20% reduced damage, making this a lot more appealing of a choice and really, really solid, because as we know, Ravager just generates a lot of rage, and especially in heavy AoE mobs and things like that. So this talent setup could be a lot of fun and could see some play and all of that fun stuff. So I really like what they did, because when we were going down the tree, all the cool stuff was in the middle, and you were kind of looking slightly at the stuff on the left and the right, but it was mainly like, all right, what talent points do I have left over to play it? Things like that. But this makes it a lot more appealing, right? And like I said, don't judge the tree. I just put slam stuff down here to get in here. But this makes it a lot of fun. Shield charge is apparently a very fun button to press on beta. And I've been testing this on PTR, and it really is a fun button to press. It deals good damage and all of that fun jazz. Another thing, a sleeper that I think should not be dismissed out of hand is Spiked Shield. Blocking an attack deals 30% attack power, physical damage to the attacker. It ignores armor, and it generates high threat. There is synergies with this and Brutal Vitality. So 30% of the damage you deal adds to your active Ignore Pain. Spike Shield deals damage by taking damage. So by hitting an Ignore Pain and just taking damage throughout a dungeon, you're going to immediately add to that Ignore Pain without having to do anything. Just the Spike Shield is going to feed into that alone, so there is nice synergies there. Whether you're taking Brutal Vitality or Fueled by Violence is still a question to be had, but there's how much do you want to go into the bleeds and all of that fun stuff. But this is definitely a really good node to choose right now. But those are some of the bigger changes happening to Prot Warrior. There is a couple minor ones here and there, but we're really not going to get into the smaller minor deep dive stuff today. I just wanted to kind of highlight the new Shield Charge Battering Ram, the new Dance of Death, and the new Immovable Object. These are 3 new big additions to the spec and class tree, which I think just improve Prot Warrior to a great effect. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm still more excited than ever to play Prot Warrior in Dragonflight. What do you guys think? Do you think these 3 new talent choices were good additions, bad additions? What do you think? And honestly, out of Shield Charge and the Ravager, which ones are you more excited to put more points into. I'd love to hear that in the comment section down below. Have yourselves a good day, everyone, and happy tanking.